everybody. Welcome back again. Welcome back after another good week. Can't deny the fact that we are doing pretty well across the board. And before we get into the extremely impressive win against Atleti, we need to be talking about the big fiasco that UEFA somehow managed to conjure. You know,
Yeah, in the
with-
Champions League draw.
yeah, like it could have been so much more less dramatic, but they thought maybe like just having commercial deals with Lays and Pepsi isn't enough. Maybe we should go in
You know,
something.
you have to trust UEFA to mess something up at some point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they are bound to have some sort of masala in the mix to spice things up. But how did you guys think? Was it fair to actually conduct a redraw, or was it rigged from the start?
For me, I'm going to be honest, I'm very conflicted about this because, I can understand that if you're going to do a redraw, why you would want to do the whole thing over again. But then when it comes to the Madrid fan in me, the question is like our draw was done fairly at the outset of things from the way we are looking at it. So it kind of like leaves a sour taste for me. And then especially given the fact that I think we drew PSG again. So for me, it was sort of disappointing because we had Benfica the first time and we haven't played Benfica in a long time, right? So it was a new fixture to look forward to. But then PSG, it seems like we play them, every other year. So it was sort of disappointing for me. I would like going into the fairness of it. I don't really know how to feel, but I think it was a big disappointment because I was really looking forward to facing Benfica.
Actually, for me, it was just, about like you had just one job, one single job. You had one job. Like this is the biggest, club, like, I don't know, like this is the biggest club competition in the whole world. And you guys had one job. You do this job like once in every, I think, 3 months or 6 months, I don't know. And the thing is this, the worst part about this is that even a kid who is in in middle school knows that for sure United cannot face, Villarreal again. But these are the rules, like these are plain rules, everyone knows this. You literally have just 16 teams. You have just 2 rules. You can't play the teams in the same country. You can't play the teams from the same group. That's all, nothing more.
For me, the draw was at 6 a.m. in the morning. So it was like a little bit difficult to wake up and watch it. But I think I woke up around 7 and the first thing I see is the draw result. And it's like, we're facing Benfica. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, we got a good draw because I was really scared that we were going to get Chelsea or PSG because if you guys had a look at the probabilities, I think it was more than 50% chance that we end up with one of these teams. Yeah. So it was sort of a relief and sort of an excitement to have a new fixture. But then later on, you find out that these guys, they somehow managed to mess it up. So it was really disappointing.
Actually, what happened was I had a class at that point in time. So I was just, secretly checking my phone. So once I saw we had Benfica, I was just like, okay, this is done. Like, I don't need to watch the draw anymore. I just closed the stuff. And then after I just came and they were like, there's going to be a draw at this time. I was like, why is there going to be a draw at 15:00 CET? Apparently someone has rigged the draw or some computer had made a mistake. And I was like, how can a computer make a mistake? Like, we're not talking about a complex algorithm of, machine learning or, some artificial intelligence stuff. No. This is just simple, basic, the most...
They even had the audacity to blame it on some third party, they said.
They blamed us on a software, but that's what I'm just saying, okay, yeah, obviously you want to make everything computerized and all this and whatnot, but it's the most basic thing. It's the most simple thing, and, the level of unfairness is just unreal, to be honest, and I just keep wondering, to be honest, what does Man City have to do to actually eventually get a good draw these days? Man City goes to the, the Carabao Cup, they draw teams like Port Vale, they go to the FA Cup, they draw Shrewsbury Town, they come to the Champions League, they draw Sporting.
They draw Sporting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the whole blaming on the software thing was a fishy, a bit fishy as well, because even if the software got the thing wrong, like the guys doing the draw have an idea about which teams to put in and which teams not to put in, and they should have immediately realized their mistake and just rectified the draw from that point instead of waiting for like 2 or 3 hours and then doing the draw again. So
exactly, that was the thing. Actually, the point was that those guys who were doing the draw, like, they also knew this. So once they've seen that there was a mistake, I mean, the point was to stop it at that point in time, not completely complete all the draws and be taking United out of the draw, putting them where they weren't supposed to be. It was a complete farce, to be honest. And already, like, we're always doubting, about the match fixing, or like, well, let's say the draw fixing, like, to make the competition more interesting and what is not. So that just, it's just, I don't know, it's just a stain on UEFA once more, like, just to question the entire integrity of the whole process, man.
I think these guys badly wanted the United PSG fixture, like one last dance for Messi versus Ronaldo, maybe. I don't know.
Like, for me, it's like the thing is, like, you have to look at it from this point as well. Like, okay, when PSG do United and Real Madrid do Benfica, we had a higher chance of going through. So now you put the PSG and Real Madrid together, and suddenly both these clubs, they stand to lose millions because somebody's going to miss out on the quarterfinals.
Sure.
So there is a financial there's a financial aspect to it as well.
Well, to be honest, I got actually look back on history and tell you that Benfica is the club with greater European pedigree than PSG. They have won the Champions League.
Definitely, but it's like facing Benfica today is not the same thing as facing PSG. With all due respect to Benfica, but the Real Madrid Benfica tie comes with an added history in itself, and we haven't faced them in a long time. So facing them would have been something new to watch, especially given the fact that they beat Barcelona to qualify. So them facing Real Madrid would have been a test for them as well, to see where they stand.
Yeah. Also, the PSG tie is kind of mad, man, because the repercussions are huge. Like the Mbappe pre-contract and all the tension is gonna spill over. I feel like come January. So
yeah, I think it's already happening. The news. If you guys are following the transfer news already, they're saying like, okay, yeah, Mbappe is going to wait until March to have discussions with Madrid. And then there's somebody who's saying that if Mbappe and Paris lose, then the French media is going to blame Mbappe because they're going to say that he had a deal with Real Madrid or something. So, and there's a lot of fan fiction already coming up on Twitter and even our subreddit.
Deny the fact that he is the top pro agent. Mbappe is going to do his thing. When he faces us, hopefully, fingers crossed. But
even besides Mbappe, it's like we face off against Ramos once again, and Hakimi. For a second season running, we face off against them, and then Keylor comes back, and then there's this guy, this rat called Di Maria, who we face again. So I think this tie has a lot of storylines to it.
Especially
and we don't need to forget like Messi and Neymar, facing off. But for me, obviously the biggest storylines are facing off against Mbappe and Sergio Ramos.
Yeah. Ramos actually came out and said he'll die on the pitch for PSG against us.
Actually, I think this guy, Sergio Ramos, is opening a gym in Madrid. So I think he was doing a press conference yesterday. So it was actually a pretty funny press conference. But even funnier than that was like reading El Chiringuito's tweets yesterday, because I think they were having a discussion about how Sergio Ramos is going to be, welcomed back to the Bernabeu. So I don't know what do you guys like. Most of us, I think, for us, it's a no-brainer that he's going to be welcomed back with cheers. But these guys had a theory that whenever Sergio Ramos is going to touch the ball, the Bernabeu is going to boo him because of the way he left. So that was pretty funny to watch.
That's not going to happen. Maybe the couple of twats in the stands might do that, but I don't think the Bernabeu would give him any sort of a solid reception. Not to Ramos.
I think the thing is like before the game, Sergio Ramos is definitely going to be applauded, but
he's gonna get
during the game, he's an opponent. So let's see how it goes.
Obviously,
Yeah.
that's it. Actually, I feel like, it would be nice if Madrid can, like actually acknowledge him, like give him a plaque or something like that, in front of the fans, given that he was unable to get a proper send-off and all that. But yeah, just as soon as I said, I think, like, to be honest, like whether we like it or not, like, whether you like him or not, rather, like Ramos, he's the guy, man. He was the hero, to be honest. He was the captain. He was he was the perfect embodiment of what a captain should be, to be honest.
Yeah, actually, the funny thing is, like, this discussion also came up, like, would Madrid do a felicitation for Sergio Ramos? And they're like, no, this is the Champions League game, so nothing is going to happen, because Champions League games come with a certain amount of history and pedigree, especially in the knockouts. So
Yeah.
I think they're not going to do something like that. But then again, you don't know how the club responds, especially given the fact that Florentino was very, in the last AGM at Real Madrid, he was very very appreciative of Sergio Ramos.
Yeah.
He even called him the eternal captain. So let's see how
Mm.
it goes. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, to be honest, man, actually, although we had Benfica and it was much more easy relatively compared to Paris, obviously. Well, I just felt like, yeah, bring it on. Like, that's just it, man. You need to beat the big boys to eventually win this stuff, man. That's just it.
Yeah. Especially, like, I think Toni Kroos yesterday, he came out and he was sort of making fun of the whole draw farce.
Yeah.
But then he ended it and said that this is what we play for.
Exactly.
So bring it on.
Exactly.
And I think even today, Karim Benzema, he came out and said that to be the best, you have to beat the best. So we just have to win every game.
That's just it, man. Really, to be honest. And man, you don't know what can happen between now and February, man. You never can tell.
To just wrap up the PSG draw. How do you guys feel as of now? I know things can change. There are a multitude of factors that can go either way come February. But as of now, do you feel like we are confident in going through?
Like, for me personally, I think it's going to be a pretty even tie, because I like their attack, especially Mbappe.
No away goals this time.
Yeah, no away goals.
Yeah, no away goals. Yeah. So, like, as I was saying, I like Mbappe in their attack, and I think Messi is slowly growing into his role with PSG. Yeah, he's slowly getting acclimated. But the thing is, like, they don't have Ramos, so I don't think they have a third center back. If they had a third center back, I could see them playing with three center backs and two wing backs, and I think Hakimi really shines in that role. But to be honest, like, for me, Paris don't have a midfield. With Verratti, you cannot be sure if he's going to be injured or if he's going to be suspended, because he's always either injured or he's suspended. So recently I think he got a 2-match ban in Liga. So the thing is, like, in midfield, I fully expect us to dominate, but then Paris, especially with Mbappe, they have the ability to counterattack and exploit our defense if we play a high line. So I think overall it's going to be a pretty even game right now at this moment. I don't know if anything changes.
We can't underestimate PSG anymore. Like, if
definitely not.
Like,
guys, you guys should give us some respect, man. To be honest,
like, I'm giving us.
Maybe asking what we think about now. To be honest, like, I feel like we're much more better than Paris at this point in time.
Yeah,
guys, have you seen the City games? Have you seen the way Paris is playing? Like, Paris literally plays like a 7-0-3 formation. To be honest, like, it's like a 7-0-3 formation.
I get it, but you should also.
To be honest, like, I actually, I was actually watching. I was listening to a couple of our episodes. Like, I think day before yesterday, and I was like, we haven't given our guys enough credit, man. To be honest, we just keep shitting on our people, like old people. We're doing the low block, and really, man, we've just been shitting on our guys, man. And to be honest, because
Farouk,
you
said something. You said Paris, they play with a 7-0-3 formation, right?
Yeah.
7-0-3 implies that they have 7 defenders and 3 attackers.
Of course,
so when they have such a low block and the ability to release somebody like Mbappe, if we are playing a high line, it's really going to hurt us. But overall, I do agree that at this moment, I would say that we are favored. But we don't know what happens in February.
Like, in this current vein of form, like, we can beat anybody, like, irrespective of who it is. I think we can even beat Bayern if we play like the way we played against Inter and Atleti. But the thing is, the narrative that PSG is this whole like cluster of broken egos, and they just don't have high work rates, and they just throw it on the pitch, can only run for so long until the day the front three clicks. And if they click and we have a bad day, if our midfield and defense have a bad day on that particular day, like we are done and out. That's the thing. If they take a quick 3-0 lead, it's very difficult.
Actually, the point is you're very right. Like, to be honest, like if Paris clicks today, and even if we click, still they will obliterate us, because like they're much more better. You understand? If let's say we're both playing in good form as well. But what I'm trying to say is that at this point in time, eventually anything can happen, between now and February, obviously. But I'm just saying at this point in time, as of today, much more better than them. That's just it. And we're not even better than them. We're much more better than them, to be honest. This is what I feel personally, actually.
Like if the game was today, I would agree with Farouk that okay, yeah, we would be the favorites. But I think even if the match was like tomorrow, I wouldn't rule Paris out because you never know what happens in a knockout round.
You can't rule them out.
Actually, yeah. Eventually, the point is, as we've mentioned, like the Galacticos they have with although Neymar is out, but we know individualism, with Messi and with Mbappe, these guys, can just decide a game in the moment of flash, just this and it's, you understand. But what I'm just trying to point out is that because you see, like I don't know, like it's just like there's this narrative going on around that okay, like it's it's Madrid, they're playing with KCM and it's this and that, and like and if it's just a narrative as if like we have like Kroos is like 40 years old and Modric is like 90 and Casemiro is like 77 and like just one touch and they're all gonna die and shit. But the point is that you see how, like, to be honest, what actually brought me back to this realization was that I watched the Atleti game and I was like, what are these guys doing? Like these guys are like literally playing like it's a training game and they've been playing like this for more than 3 weeks.
Yeah,
the same guys continuously.
I know.
Like, it's unfair. Like they play so easy, especially Kroos and Modric. They like look at Modric against Rodrigo de Paul and Koke, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Like, honest, like I rate Rodrigo de Paul very highly a lot, and like I was actually thinking maybe they're gonna like Modric is gonna have a difficult time against them. The man's a box-to-box midfielder at the age of 37.
Yeah.
Wow, like really, guys, really, to be honest,
Still, I'll be very apprehensive about how much we praise our team. We definitely need to like give them their flowers, but still, man, it's only December. But moving on, like we need to wrap up the PSG.
Yeah, it's only December, but you can only defeat what's in front of you, man. What can you?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I get your point. So also about the other possible other fixtures that were drawn. Salzburg were drawn against Bayern.
Before you go into the reviewing the other fixtures, I would just say like I thought the original draw had better fixtures than the current one, because I think like Atleti were facing Bayern and United were facing PSG. To me, those were like those stood out more than any other fixture that has come up in the second draw apart from PSG or Real Madrid. But I think PSG or Real Madrid is a fixture that is for maybe semifinals or finals. But right now, seeing this
Atleti United, Inter, Liverpool, not bad fixtures though.
I mean, Atleti are stronger than United for me, and Liverpool are like stronger than Inter.
Actually, I think the Inter game, man, it needs to be played first, man. Because I feel like I've always said like I feel like Liverpool's defense this season is just there for the taking, and really the point is okay, we don't know what's gonna happen, but the way the Inter attack is playing these days, man, with Hakan and Zeko and Martinez, actually these guys are on fire these days, man, to be honest.
I watch Syria like a fair good amount, and I'll tell you for a fact Inter won't stand a chance against Liverpool. Like, yeah, they might do their thing, get a 1-1 at San Siro, but on aggregate and overall Liverpool will just choke them out, because the intensity with how Liverpool and the Klopp's men press, I don't think they stand a chance. And similarly, like Koke said, Atleti might be a good collective, bro, but when you have Ronaldo on the other side, it's gonna be a psychological block.
Actually, the point is when Cristiano plays against Atletico, you just your money always just has to be on Cristiano. That's just like the man. He's the hunter, man. He's the Atletico Madrid hunter.
I think this is the time Atleti finally break the curse, because I think the collective behind Ronaldo is not the same. So I really, unless something dramatically changes and suddenly Ragnick
But
changes
bro,
the
let
whole
me also
dynamic
remind
team
you,
and
man,
they're-
like these guys single-handedly scored a hat-trick against Atleti at Turin as well.
Yeah.
like again,
Single-handedly
like with us.
Yeah, Juventus, he knocked them out with a hat-trick, man.
Yeah, but I think Juventus, like they had a better team behind them than
a
the
good
current
team, man.
United
But
team.
you should also remember the fact that the guy who just got a job at United, like if he is actually who he's held as, like the godfather of German football, and he has a clear 3 months to work with those players.
I don't believe so, man. To be honest, like I don't understand the hype behind Ralph Ragnick, man. The man hasn't won shit, and he's like hailed as the second coming of, I don't know.
Yeah, he hasn't won
You
shit.
know, the thing is,
I
like,
don't know, man.
I understand the praise that Ralph Ragnick is getting, but at the end of the day, these are the same players that Solskjaer had, and it's not like they are like they have another level to go to. We already
No,
know what
they
those players
definitely
have.
Actually,
have
Mo,
no
I think the
idea.
point is this: like, Solskjaer did not have like an obvious tactics, and like the point is that United actually have some good players, but like they were just left to like. The point is not like
If you watch United last season, I think they had an obvious tactic, which was the fact that they would sit deep and attack on the counter.
Yeah.
When they got Cristiano to come in, that tactic did not work anymore because Cristiano doesn't have the pace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was sort of they gave Solskjaer an extension for whatever year that was, and then suddenly they said, okay, fine, we know that you play this style, but this you have to somehow accommodate this guy, and then Solskjaer's tactics failed. They have brought Ragnick now, and I think I don't know what he's going to do because the rest of the cast behind Ronaldo is still the same, and their best qualities are not suited towards they're not suddenly going to play like Real Madrid or Barcelona of the old. You get me? So I don't know how they take on Atletico.
Actually,
exactly
Mo,
why
I think the point is this rather. Like I think last season I watched a lot of United as well. When there are teams who has low blocks, Solskjaer's tactics doesn't work. The thing is that Solskjaer was, as you said, like he was a counter-attacking guy. Like let's exploit the space and what is and what is not okay. But the point was that eventually you need the intricate details. Like okay, this is what we need to do in certain situations. So this information was non-existent. And the point is like the level at which the Premier League competes right now, even, the Brendan Rodgers, when you go to Leeds with Marcelo Bielsa, and even Graham Potter at Brighton, these guys have automations. They know these are, how can I say, they practice moves so much that it becomes like, memory. It becomes like, their second nature. They automatically know where this person is and where that person is.
Like, okay, you said okay that somehow like the expectation is that somehow Ralph Ragnick is going to transform United into a team that is capable of building from the back and handling low blocks like Atleti had. But the thing is, you have to look at the players. Fred is not going to suddenly become a passing master like.
But what I'm going to say to you is this: the issue of Fred is a very intriguing one. Before Fred came to United, he was also scouted and wanted to be bought by Pep at Man City as well.
The thing is, like, I agree that Fred has certain characteristics that are good, but you have to look at this United side and find out who is going to be the midfield controller. They don't have one. Like, okay, Bruno Fernandes is a good player, but he plays higher up the pitch. When you look at United, you look at Scott McTominay. Do you think he's going to be able to build from behind from the back?
Already
this is a guy who always gets caught up in the opposition defender's cover shadow. He cannot position himself to receive passes from the center backs. So I don't really know like why we are expecting that suddenly this team is going to have Ronaldo beat Atletico Madrid. Maybe Ragnick gets some improvement, but I don't know how they beat Atletico.
I get it. Like we can't put United at a pedestal they don't belong. Like they are not that highly regarded anyway. They are average at best on their best days as of now.
I mean, the Cristiano effect is there.
Same team they were like a couple of years ago. They are not. Atleti is not the same force they were.
Yeah.
Like they are not the same force attacking wise, nor defensively. Like defensively, they seem lacking a lot. Like I know they have their fair share of injuries and whatnot.
Yeah.
But this whole
like Atleti's defense, I think that the fact that we have to acknowledge is there's a difference between Josema and Savic playing Atleti's defense versus Kondogbia and Felipe. There's a huge difference between the two. And right now, even given Cristiano's level, the thing that Cristiano brings, I'm still not going to say that Manchester United have a chance of beating Atletico Madrid for me at this point in time. I don't know what happens from December to February. Maybe Atletico gets decimated by injuries, or Manchester United suddenly elevates their game to world beaters. But
Yeah.
for me right now, Atleti is the favorite.
Other interesting ties, Villarreal, Juventus. How do you see that going?
Like, I think Allegri has the European, how do I say, he has the European know-how. So I think Juventus are slight favorites for me, or Villarreal. Because Emery, I don't think Champions League.
Emery might do a very, very good job at home. Like, they'll be very hard to beat at home at the Ceramica. But in Turin, it's a different story entirely. So
yeah, for me, it's like Emery. I don't think he is very comfortable in the Champions League. And apart from that, I think Villarreal, the way they are struggling in La Liga to grind out results, I don't know how I feel about them. Even Juventus, they're struggling, but there's the Allegri factor. I think Allegri is a good manager. He knows how to get it done in Europe. So I would pick Juventus as slight favorites.
Chelsea is another.
You see the fixtures like Chelsea against Lille, man. How does that even happen? Chelsea finished second, and all of a sudden they still avoid Bayern Munich, for God's sake.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. The first draw had better fixtures.
But actually, even in the first draw, Chelsea were against Lille as well. It was the same.
They were?
Yeah. Chelsea's draw didn't change.
What are the chances of that happening?
That's what are the chances of that happening? I think it's just, a letter for Chelsea because, and actually, I think Icone is going to join Fiorentina in January as well.
Yeah, I think they confirmed it.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just left with, I think just Bamba and Jonathan David, right? And then the Turkish guy, Burak Yilmaz, in the attack. So I feel, it should be a walk in the park for Chelsea, actually.
Yeah. It's not a very tight tie. The other one, Benfica, Ajax.
I think
this is just a pure Europa League tie, man. With all due respect, to be honest. We're sitting here and we're gonna remove either Messi or obviously we're gonna remove Messi and Mbappe and Neymar from the league, and we want to keep watching Sebastian Haller, for God's sake.
The thing is, Ajax ran away with it against Sporting, and their reward is to get an even easier opponent.
That's the point, man.
So I don't really know, and this I think Ajax is going to win, but I think there's a little bit of overrating of Ajax's abilities because their group stage was absolutely woeful.
But the point was that
and whatever the third team was.
But in the group also it contained Borussia Dortmund with Erling Haaland. So it's
like Dortmund are not the same team, they are like a pretty weak team right now. So I think we are we tend to judge Dortmund when it comes to Dortmund, we tend to judge them by last decade and their achievements under Klopp and Tuchel. But right now, I don't think Dortmund is the same team.
No, especially the manager. The manager is not very good.
I think Marco Rosa is good, man. I could recall last year the last 2 years at Mönchengladbach, he was quite
Marco Rosa was good with BMG, but I don't know. I don't think it has worked out for him with Dortmund as of now. I'm not a big Bundesliga watcher, so for me, from what I see, I don't think Dortmund is a very strong team right now.
No. Well, I think he can get there given time. I think Mark Rosa can do it.
They won't even win the Europa League. I'll tell you that, man. That's they won't.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Who wants to win the Europa League? Not everyone.
Nobody wants to win it, but
Sevilla, they have the final in their home stadium, man.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be peak. I hope they make it and win it because I always root for Sevilla. They have.
I was quite surprised, because I know Emery is a specialist of that competition, so I thought they're gonna let Atlanta just defeat them and they can go and win their trophy once more again. So I think
the financial incentive of winning, going to the round of 16 in Champions League is greater than winning a Europa League. So it's if you make it to, if you make it to the round of 16 in Champions League, you're getting more money than winning the whole thing with Europa. So but one game had a lot of money riding on it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's the UCL draw wrapped up, and let's get into the flesh of the main business. We got the job done on Sunday, in a game which I thought was pretty comfortable, apart from maybe 2 or 3 clear clear, scary moments for Thibaut.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that ball
was
hit him to the
convincing, man.
face was like so scary. I was like, what happened? I hope this guy doesn't, like, everything is okay and he doesn't need to replace. Because the ball, it suddenly came with full force on his face, like bam.
Yeah, it struck his nose, and people are talking about him getting a nose job. Like, is there any truth behind it?
I have no idea. Actually, this is the first time I'm hearing of something.
Yeah, people were saying like, yeah, like him getting a nose job would have helped him a lot. In like the moment. I was like, these guys need to get alive, man. Like, that's great. So yeah, thoughts on the game, boys?
Yeah, man. I actually started talking about the game, man. It was just fantastic, man, to see Luka Modric playing that game, man, to be honest. I wasn't sure, but I think there was a point in time. I think Mo also pointed that out. Like, it was like the Atleti fans were like kind of applauding Luka Modric or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think when Luka Modric got an ovation from Atletico fans as well.
Yeah.
Man, to be honest, that was just it, man. I don't know, man. It just like I was just like, wow, why is this guy playing this game so easy, man? Like he wasn't even breaking a sweat, man. To be honest,
yeah,
he wasn't breaking.
That's how Modric looks. Yeah, like I've seen him in Tottenham as well. When you look at him, like it doesn't feel like he's exerting much when he's actually pulling those neat little shimmies off. It's so effortless. He's in a league of his own, especially.
Sunil, you mentioned that you saw him at Tottenham, so I just thought of a really weird thing. At the start when he came to Tottenham, I think Tottenham misused him. They used to play him at left wing. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
No, I don't, because
I used to Ramos, right? If I'm not mistaken, and then like Harry Redknapp actually.
I never knew that he used to play left wing. I used to watch him towards his latter years at Tottenham, and
when he first went to Tottenham, they used to play him at left wing, and I don't remember who the manager was, but like he wasn't performing pretty well. And then later on, he got switched back to the midfield, more into a more creative role. And then he started dominating the league. They're like the Luka Modric, like you just have to you just have to stand up and applaud. You can't really say anything else. Like even at 36, 37, this guy is going, so strong. Like I doubt there's even like there's probably only one or two midfielders who even come close to his level.
Yeah, the way he interprets space. It's all about the space, man. Like how, like
Kroos this guy has the ability to create space out of nothing.
Yeah, like he just know. Like if I just like fool this guy into thinking I'm gonna go this way and run this way, I might have like 10 yard.
That drop of the shoulder that Modric does is like very effective. It's something you only see in strikers. And Modric
so
does
satisfying to watch, right? Like
he can be surrounded by 5 players and then still have more space than somebody who is only being pressed by one player. So I think that just highlights the ability of Modric.
And these guys, EA games, they should be like held accountable, man. This guy, his agility on FIFA should be 90 plus, 95 plus. I think his agility is mid 80s or early 80s, which is such a scam, because the way Modric drops shoulders and takes people out of the game is insane, and it needs to be it needs to be acknowledged more often.
I think the thing about EA Sports is like I totally do not understand how they do their ratings, because somehow for some reason Felipe Coutinho is still 82 while Gareth Bale is like 81 or 80 or something. So I don't really understand that.
Well. Yeah.
So for me, and another thing is like I think with these cards that EA makes, like some of the players, even if they have lower overall, they are better than other cards with higher overall. I think like Eder Militao's card is pretty good, despite the fact that he's only rated 84 or something.
82.
So, but even then, I think.
He's my starting center back in December, so that speaks a lot. Moving on from FIFA. Another brilliant setup by Vinicius, man. That whole segment of play was incredible. Like how Modric forced the interception, and then
I think it was Vinicius who forced the interception.
Sorry, my bad. Vinicius who forced the interception, and then Modric wins it, and then put through by Asensio, who puts in a brilliant ball to Vinny, who cuts it back to Benzema, and the volley, man. Like, how do you perfect it? Like
Okay, like about this goal, I need to point out like two things that I don't know if you guys noticed. Like, I'm sure the second thing is something new. The first thing was like this goal, actually the volley, I think Karim Benzema actually practiced it with Ancelotti, Davide Ancelotti, pre-game. There was this video where they showed like Karim Benzema practicing the same volley. And the second point is like, if you guys remember the first Clasico of the 14-15 season, we scored a very similar goal. If you remember the third goal, you guys remember?
With James being involved, right?
Yeah, Isco robbed the ball of Iniesta of all people, and then he gives it to Cristiano. Cristiano passes it to James. James played the same ball as Asensio did to. He played to Benzema, and then Benzema scored. But this time Vinicius just scores it, and Benzema, he scored a brilliant volley. Like that was like with Benzema, it's like you feel like at first glance like he's hitting it with power, but then you go back and watch it again, and he's just placing it. But when he places it, his timing is so immaculate. The power, it just comes from itself. So I thought it was a brilliant goal.
Like it's almost like he put his laces through it instead of applying too much power on the shot. It seems so flawless, man. Like it's almost like an AI simulation. And big ups to Vinicius, man. Big ups to Vinicius. Like I'll tell you a stat. He's the first Real Madrid player to record 2 assists in a Madrid derby since Zidane on June the 15th, 2003. And you could see from the looks on the Atleti players, as soon as Vinicius was found way upfield on the right, they knew that we can't give him any kind of space, So like everybody was attracted to him, and like big ups to Vinicius, man, to finding the composure to lay it on a plate. Like I don't know how he managed to like scoop up a ball like that towards the edge of the D,
I think this play really highlighted the evolution of Vinicius, over the years for me, because like something I noticed in the game was like Atletico's tactic. It was to high press on our left side. They blocked. They were pressing Mendy and Cruz with great intensity. And they were cutting off the supply to Vinicius. So Vinicius realized that. He goes in the middle. He presses Koke. Koke of all people loses the ball, and then it leads to the goal. So you just have to you can't just just have to sit back and applaud how Vinicius evolved over the seasons, over the last 3 seasons. Because Vinicius was not going to do the same play before, but now he has the foresight, he has the ability to pull it off, and I just can't. I can only applaud him.
Yeah, I think actually one thing we also should note now is that like Vinicius plays with his head hop. Before he was just, head down, trying just to dribble past any legs he can see, and dribbling himself also. So actually now, him lifting his head up, he actually can see what's around. And as Mo said, ability to execute it is also, something else also. But yeah, man, really big ups to. Because I felt like, similar to Mo, I felt like this game actually showed, that, this guy is he's on a different level, to be honest. Like, although he didn't score, but like, the way he created the chances, the ability to spot, the open players rather, and also also with the finishers also. Actually, big ups to being in it.
I need to tell you something. So while I was actually watching the game, I was actually in a party, in a PlayStation party with my friends. Okay, so one of them is a huge Barca fan, and the other guy is a Chelsea fan. So when Vinicius actually put this on a plate for Benzema, I started screaming, like Vinicius for a Ballon d'Or, and then the party was like quiet. So it's like reinforce the comment and reinstate that Vinicius is definitely a shot for Ballon d'Or if we win a major title this season, and I don't think it's a mad shout. Like there is credit.
I think both Vinicius and Benzema really deserve credit, and another guy who deserves credit and who's not getting enough credit for me is Thibaut Courtois. This guy,
brilliant. It's funny, right? Like goalkeeping is a position. The less you talk about it, the greater the performances. It's always bound to be like that, because if you happen to talk more about the goalkeeper, there is problems at the back. But since we have been always just gliding around the topic of Thibaut speaks volumes about how much of a wall he has been
Like
recently.
sometimes the thing for me is like people are criticizing the defenders for somebody would criticize the defenders and say, oh, why is Thibaut Courtois making so many saves? He should not be making them in the first place. But the thing is, like, even Thibaut Courtois is our player, and he's part of the team and he's part of the defense. So he's just doing his job, and he's doing his job to a level that I don't think anybody else is doing it today in the world. So I think Courtois deserves some recognition, especially in light of the fact that FIFPro they came out with a nomination list that is utterly garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know how Dani Alves and Jordi Alba are there.
That's the thing, man. To be honest, actually, for me, it was like Alba. I was like thinking, okay, what has Jordi Alba done? To be honest, I don't know. I can't remember. To be honest, really. So it's just like
why is Dani Alves there?
Dani Alves, but I know that Dani Alves has been like jobless for 6 months or something like that. I don't know what he's done, but I'm seeing what Jordi Alba is doing, man. I've been seeing what he's been doing for the past year, and it's just utter garbage, man. To be honest, and how is it? It's interesting. At least, man, worst case scenario.
Jordi Alba is the guy who cried, right? Like during a Champions League game or something.
Yeah,
probably. But even besides Jordi Alba, what the hell is Sergio Busquets doing over there? The guy lets everybody walk in front of him and score goals.
Actually, Sergio B.
You think he's like one of the best players in the world?
Sergio B at the Euros was quite good. More like Sergio Busquets was good at the Euros. Maybe this is why. Actually, maybe this.
But man, come on, you have to see how his performance is then, right? He has been utter total garbage.
Busquets
for Barcelona.
He has a footballing brain, man, but the man can't.
Okay, I understand he has a footballing brain, and I understand that and I applaud him. And for what he has done in his career, he deserves great respect. But FIFPro lineup of the year shouldn't be based on what you have achieved in your career. It should be based on what you have done over the last year. And over the last year, Busquets is definitely not like one of the best midfielders in the world. I don't know how like Cruz, Casemiro, and Modric are not there, and Busquets is there.
Actually, that goes back to what I'm saying. Like the narrative is just all around is that these guys are dead human beings. Like they're just pushing it through one way or another. That's the narrative all around. To be honest, that's what people keep saying. And what I just understand is that really a lot of people don't watch Madrid. They just have the idea because they watched Madrid last against Chelsea. So they just have the idea of Kante against this midfield, and that's just what's stuck to their mind. And like they don't even watch the game to just like no, like yeah, these guys are old. They're just pushing it one way or another. So it's
yeah, definitely. And the thing is like even in the Atleti game, the comment like I think the Stuart Robson, he kept referring to the Chelsea game so many times. I was like literally very tired. And I was like, that was a game when Cruz was not fit. Modric was like had been worked to death. Casemiro, I don't know what his physical condition was, and you are going to like form an opinion of this game.
Like even I get agitated at people like completely brushing aside how good we have been, especially people outside of Spain.
Especially given the fact that how they destroyed Liverpool.
Yeah, I get it. Idiots like Stuart Robson shouldn't be in the job. Like I'm not gonna say weird stuff on the pod, but like his head is a thing of beauty. But that's for another whole episode. But the thing I want to point out, you just mentioned that the reason why Chelsea and Kante ran rings around our midfield was Cruz and Modric and Casemiro were ran to the ground. They were literally breathless towards the latter stages. I fear for that very same scenario this season too. And am I wrong in thinking that way in December?
Like, personally, for me, the biggest difference is Pintus. Because if you remember the last time Pintus came, they said like the players, the comments were like toward when they reached the end of the season, they could realize that the effort they had put in at the beginning with Pintus was paying off. So I think that's a difference from the last 2 seasons, because I think the last 2 seasons we had Gregory Dupont, and I don't think he's at the same level as Antonio Pintus. And the second thing is like I expect at some point in time Carlo is going to do some changes. Like well, I hope. Okay, not expect. Let's say I hope, or rather, I am praying. That
he's on his knees, guys. Okay. Don Carlo.
I am on my knees. I am praying. Please rest Modric and Cruz for one game and let Fede play. I think Ancelotti has to rotate.
Next week is the perfect
opportunity. To be honest, man, like watching these games, man, like you just feel for Carlo, like why would he want to rest a player in form? So this is.
I agree with that. But it's just game planning.
Yes, man. I don't know. Well, actually, I feel like, yeah, the point you're making just about, I think the recovery sessions these guys are putting in, and what they're doing in training, most likely, I don't know, man. It's, this things is just a game of chance, man. Sometimes it's just about luck as well, You might just
just like something I remember. I think Carlo just gave the team like a couple of days off, so they're not training. I think they don't train until tomorrow or day after or something like that. So probably they're working at something behind the scenes, hopefully, so that we don't get injuries.
The second goal, we need to touch on the second goal a bit. Jovic, man. Jovic.
Yeah. Luka Jovic, man. This guy is doing something, he's really stepped up.
He has really stepped up, and he has actually, in my opinion, turned a corner that I thought he would never crawl out of. The way he has taken his chances, the very few minutes he will get when Karim is on top of his game. Jovic is really proving to be a viable option B.
For me, what you're saying is true. Yeah, for me, what you're saying is true. I think Luka Jovic has proven himself to be a viable option B. I think when you analyze Luka Jovic, you can see like how well he has connected with the midfield, especially ever since he helped Vinicius score that goal against La Real. His understanding with the midfield seems to have gone up. He's playing with more confidence, and against Atleti, he was even driving forward with the ball. So I think like this guy is gaining confidence. And I remember reading a couple of days back that Luka Jovic, his camp has suggested that Luka Jovic has never been more happy at Real Madrid. This is the time he's been the most content. And there was talk about him leaving Real Madrid in January. But for now, I don't think it is happening anymore. Like maybe the situation gets reevaluated in June. But right now, the chance of Luka Jovic leaving Real Madrid in January is very low. Like it would still happen, but
like, do you know what I think, man? Like, his recent resurgence in form should be rewarded by Carlo adequately, and in my opinion, he shouldn't be an afterthought when Karim Benzema is back to 100%. Like, especially in our crucial knockout ties against your PSGs, the big La Liga fixtures, against your Betises, against your Sevillas and whatnot. If Benzema if Benzema starts the game and like he scores a goal, or like we are in a comfortable position, like 1-0 lead or something, Jovic needs to get his 10-15 minutes and somehow, like I don't know how, but he needs to be rewarded for this turn in form. If he isn't, then he's going to go back to his old self and back to his shell, which he might not get the chance to recover from again.
I think Luka Jovic being more confident also presents us with an alternative. It gives us a plan B. Because if you guys like you say you've watched him at Frankfurt, right? His best position is playing in a two-man strike partnership.
That's right.
So coming off the bench, playing with Benzema, maybe you take off the right winger and stuff every time, replacing Asensio with Rodrigo with Asensio. You can add some tactical variety and have Luka Jovic and Benzema play together, and you give Vinicius the freedom to roam around wherever he wants in the field. He can cross the ball to Jovic. There's Benzema.
Carlo can think about it if we are up 2-0, but if it's a tight game, we are leading 2-1, like doing a tactical shift.
Yeah, definitely. Like depending on what the game calls for. Maybe we are chasing.
Like, you get my point, right? Like Jovic should get his recognition.
Yeah. Well, actually, Spade, the point is actually get your point. Also, I actually give a bit of thought to that. The point is that Jovic needs continuity. Well, like, how can you reward the continuity when you're like literally competing maybe with the best number 9 in the game right now? How do you?
For me, I think it's like this is the right time for him to get continuity, because I think he should be starting against Cadiz, because we know for sure that Benzema is not completely 100%. Maybe coming into Cadiz he reaches 100%, but bringing Benzema off the bench against Cadiz in the second half is not a bad idea. Going into the game against Athletic Bilbao, because right now I think we play like 7 games in 21 days. Yeah. So having a week off is only going to help Benzema,
Yeah, but I think what Sunil was saying, I think it's more about the long run, because as you said earlier, like right now it doesn't seem logical to actually send Jovic on loan. it seems like the most logical thing is to keep him around and have a different outlet, like he's a different kind of player to Benzema, so he gives you like a different weapon entirely. But the point is, then what happens, after the run of the 21 days of games, it's the winter break. And then when the winter break comes, at the end of the winter break, most likely Benzema is back fully fit and what's not, hopefully. So then what happens to Jovic again? Because what I feel is that Jovic is a kind of, how can I say, he's a confidence player. So, once the morale gets low again, as Sunaid pointed out rightfully, then you're back to the Jovic of the past. So he's always hiding from a pass.
Yeah. I think the thing is like, okay,
motivation high.
Okay, I think the thing is like, even though right now it's you said he has to get a run of games, right? I think right now is the perfect time. Cadiz, he can start. Even after the winter break, we go into a run of fixtures that includes the Super Cup. So I don't think Benzema should be playing in the Super Cup. He deserves rest for that, because if I remember, Zidane, he played one of the Super Cups without Benzema. So the pressure is not there. The focus is, I think, the league title, not the Super Cup. So I think Jovic should get a run of games in there. So I think the possibility is there. But the thing is, like, what are the priorities for the club and what does Carlo want? So at the end of the day, that is going to dictate whether he gets a run of games or not.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. We all want the best for Jovic, and we all hope that that he gets rewarded accordingly for his new turn form. Moving on, just a couple of things to wrap up the Athletic win. 10 straight wins, boys. 10 straight wins over all competitions.
Yeah. La Decima, another La Decima.
You can say that. Sevilla, Bilbao, Sociedad, Inter, Atletico.
Just a funny thing, this La Decima was also against Atletico.
That's you can say that. Team with the most points, 42 out of 51. Top, like the most scoring team in Spain, 39 goals. Team with most wins, 13. The team with least losses, just 1. Unbeaten at the Bernabeu. So what more can you ask from Carlo at this point? I guess not much, eh?
I'm just gonna ask, like, hopefully we can continue the same form. I know at some point in time this winning run is going to come to an end. But I hope, like, the general idea is that we can sustain the form over the coming games in La Liga. Like, even if we don't win the Champions League, I would expect us to win La Liga.
Exactly.
Yeah. I expect us to win the Champions League too. Like, I don't know why, but I expect us to win the Champions League too.
I hope we win the Champions League.
Yeah, like so many things has to go our way, but I want us to win the Champions League, because La Liga is very satisfying to win it, but Champions League is something else. The hit of dopamine, man, it's something else. So
you said a lot of things have to go our way, and the first thing I thought of was the draw.
Fuck Infantino. Is he the guy UFA? No. That's the FIFA
Schäferin.
Yeah, Schäferin. Anyway, fuck him. So last 2 very key stats from the Athletic game. Courtois made 6 crucial saves against Atletico, and like the way
I thought it was 7.
It's 6 as per
okay.
As per Mundo Deportivo, I guess. Also, 36-year-old Luka Modric completed more take-ons, 4, than any other player on the pitch. That's mad. That's peak. A 36-year-old completing.
Okay, I think that there needs to be perspective to this. It's like Atletico, we don't really expect anybody to take on players,
Maybe Carrasco, if he was actually fit.
But Carrasco is like, I think he's playing like a pseudo wing back. The thing about Simeone is, like, he really reins in the offensive abilities of his players. And right now, the way I see Atletico is like they are in a weird place where they don't know whether they want to be an expansive attacking team or they want to be an ultra defensive team.
Yeah, I get it.
And somehow Atletico has this attacking player in Joao Felix. They have Antoine Griezmann. They have Luis Suarez. And like these like especially Joao Felix, I don't think he fits Simeone's play style.
No. He looked right though. He was, I think, the sole danger for large parts of the game towards the end.
Definitely.
He
But
looked
like some of the signings that Atletico made over the summer also have to be questioned. Like they signed Rodrigo de Paul. Like, what was the point of signing Rodrigo de Paul when you already have Marcos Llorente, who arguably is doing the same role better than Rodrigo de Paul? And right now you're shifting out Marcos Llorente to right back because you do not have enough cover at the right back position, And so
maybe it's because Simeone thinks that Llorente can play so many positions so well, and
But I think the good thing about Carlo Ancelotti is like he puts players in their best positions instead of trying to get players to accommodate for the team. He tries as much as possible to put players in their best positions. And I think whereas when you look at what Simeone is doing with Atletico, he's just trying to just put players that they can work. So I think Llorente is getting underused, and he had a lot more potential for me.
Well, actually, I think the curious thing with Simeone is like, these guys, as we discussed in the previous episodes, like we said, like they're the best underdogs. So the point of what happens now is that when you start to make purchases, like as you pointed out, buying RDP, and more importantly, spending 135 millions on a certain Joao Felix, and then you're paying, Suarez a lot of money, and then you go to England and you buy what's he called, the British Beckham or
Trippier.
Rory Beckham. I think when you buy players like Kieran Trippier, so eventually, like the expectation starts to increase. So like that's like, when you're the underdogs, and then all of a sudden everyone is expecting you to be on the front foot. So it's, as you guys said, it's just kind of a dilemma. They're like, okay, are we going to be on the front foot? Okay, are we going to keep defending? But then we've spent almost €500 million, then how can you justify the expense of €500 million when we're still playing as the underdog? So I think
this narrative that Atletico are the poor side of Madrid is well and truly dead.
That's the thing. Exactly. This is it now. So now, by spending €500 million, you've already killed that narrative that, okay, you guys don't have the money. You guys literally have one of the best stadiums in Europe, a new stadium, by the way. So it's just killed all the narrative of that you guys are the underdog, the poor guys, the working class people, so everything is just gone in garbage now.
So there's only one working class club in Madrid, and that is Rayo Vallecano. I have to plug for them because I like them. But then Atletico, this narrative that they somehow represent the poor social classes and everything, I think it has to truly be dead.
Yeah, like they have this social, this identity crisis. They don't know which side to lean on, to be the underdog or to be the team that like eventually has shedded its underdog skin and has some backbone to stand up on its own. It's crazy how Simeone has handled this pressure. I think last year I thought that it would be a turning point for them because they finally won La Liga.
Yeah.
Although it's bound to us in Barcelona for slacking a lot, in my opinion. Even though they were good, but the form they had during the first half of last season was mental. Like they could have literally ran away with the league, but yeah.
Yeah, I think
actually I feel like that the what Sunil just talked about, it continues actually into the current season. Towards the end of last season, it was like you weren't sure what's going to happen with Atleti. They were so good in the first half, and all of a sudden they went away in the second half. And I think that form, or rather lack of form, also transferred into the new season actually. So you can actually see that there's still that issue of, okay, are we doing it? Aren't we doing it? What are we doing? What aren't we doing actually?
There is a huge argument outside Spain and the other football fans looking in. They say that like Simeone has done his best at Atletico and it's time to move on from him. But his loyal aficionados would never turn on him. Like the people in Madrid, they wouldn't ever turn on Simeone.
Even the Bernabeu was chanting Cholo Quedate, like
like I don't know, man. Maybe in a few years we'll know the answer for sure.
I think there's a certain irony to it because Diego Simeone is probably Madrid's, like Atletico Madrid's most successful manager of this century, at least, like not this, like this millennium, this side of 2000. But then, as we were discussing, Atletico and their underdog, and they don't have money and everything. But then I think Cholo Simeone is like the most paid manager in the world, like one of the most paid managers in the world. He gets paid like euro 25 million or something per year. So I think Atleti cannot live with those two things together. And apart from that, I think the issue is like the board, they are buying players that do not gel with the identity that Simeone wants his teams to have. So I think there is some sort of a clash over there. To Simeone's credit, he has made it work, but I don't know what the future holds. Maybe he goes off to Inter, and we can finally be rid of him, and Atletico can go back to losing the derbies and everything.
You never know. You never know with football. Football works in funny ways. Yeah, I think that's pretty much a wrap for Atleti. And moving on to the minnows of La Liga and the pseudo yellow submarine of La Liga, Cadiz, a team that I greatly admire for their valiant spirit and how much they overcome the odds most often. But this season they have been having a pretty rough run in. They look almost certainly stamped on for relegation as of today. They sit 18th, and it looks pretty grim. Any thoughts, boys?
For me, I think like you refer to the Spirits, I think no other player is perhaps more representative than Espino, their left back. I think he's pretty representative of what Cadiz Spirit is about. But I think they have a distinct lack of quality throughout the team. And overall, I think last season they overachieved a little bit. But like I think they would be, they honestly speaking, I think they are prime candidates for relegation. Like you said, they're already 18th. I think the only saving grace they have is like the fact that I think Levante is having a historically poor season, of epic proportions.
They haven't won in like 25 games, Levante.
25 games, yeah.
That's mad. Levante used to be so good. I don't know what happened.
I remember I think I was listening to the Spanish football podcast, and Sid Lowe or Phil, they mentioned that this has been the worst La Liga season by any team. This is the worst team La Liga has ever seen, and they probably haven't won since earlier this calendar year. Not even earlier this season. They haven't won since earlier this calendar year. So I think that's saving Cadiz a little bit, but I fully suspect that probably come end of the season they will be relegation candidates.
They have Negredo. if you want any ball.
If this was 6 years ago, maybe, but right now I don't know.
He has 2 goals this season. Another crucial player for them, Anthony Lozano, has 5 goals and assists. Another interesting player, of course, Nacho's brother, Alex. Is 3 goals this season. He's a weird man, like weird case. Rather, because I've seen him play all sorts of positions like Nacho does, but it's much more varied. Like I've seen him play wing back, I've seen him play CDM. Last game he played cam, so he seems to be pretty good at multiple positions.
I think his primary position is of an attacking midfielder. The funny thing is, like, when both of them were coming through the academy, if you ask me, I would have said Alex Fernandez was more likely to make it at Real Madrid compared to Nacho.
Really?
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, he even won player of the tournament at the under-20 championships. If I remember correctly, it was under 22 or under 20 something. So one of the junior championships, the junior A-level championship, he was the player of the tournament for Spain. So Alex Fernandez, he was like a pretty talented guy. The problem that happened with him at Castilla was like he had a contractual disagreement with Real Madrid. So when he was the captain of Castilla, I think they sort of froze him out and he left. So there was a falling out of something. But anyway, I think he has done a good job of building up his career after leaving Real Madrid. And overall, I think his best position, to your point, is playing as an attacking midfielder. Anywhere in the midfield, he's good. Wing back, maybe not so much, but I think he's best at cam.
Yeah, that's where he finished the last game where they drew 1-1 to Granada. Uh, any thoughts, Farooq, how we can approach this game? Obviously, rest most of our starting 11.
It's more of the same, man. The starting 11, man. I think it's high time we bring our guys into the game, man. Like, well, Vardy has been waiting on the flanks for so long. I feel like it's high time he gets some game time, you know. And also, I feel like it's time to give Lucas Vasquez a rest as well, man, to be honest. Oh, sorry, Dani Carvajal a rest, and let's play Lucas Vasquez.
Okay.
I feel
How
like
dare you speak of the Lord that way? Anyway,
that's
A worrying thing is I think Danny picked up something in the game against Atleti.
yeah.
yeah,
So
it was a slight
that
muscle strain.
yeah, you know, so we just do, and with Carvalho, you know, with the muscles and all that, so we just never can be much careful. And I'd really love Benzema to just, you know, come on in the second half for the last 15-30 minutes, I guess. Let's let Jovic get the job done this time around, because we have to be careful with the injuries and whatnot. So
yeah, on the whole, I agree with Farooq. What Farooq is saying, I think you know, start Fede at one of the midfield positions. Who you rested up to Carlo because he seems to be averse to resting Modric. So okay, fine, you can rest Cruz. And the other thing is like, okay, I think Jovic start instead of Benzema. Let Benzema come on in the second half or something. And I think somebody has to come in for Carvajal, maybe Nacho or Lucas, like whoever, you know, whoever Carlo prefers.
I want Gareth Bale to play also.
Yeah, maybe he can if he's fit. He doesn't get injured.
Yeah, he was on the bench in the last game, so yeah, he can play the last 15 minutes, last 20.
No, I mean, if he doesn't get injured during the week, he can.
Oh, that's
awesome. Let's hope he doesn't.
He doesn't get swinging the golf, right?
Yeah.
yeah. You already know. I would be very pleased to have him get a few minutes. We'll need him, man. We'll need him post the winter break. It's going to be peak. And also now
Gareth Bale is fit and in form against PSG. I am telling you, that is something I would want to watch. Motivated Gareth Bale in Champions League is something else.
Yeah.
Who has a lot of spare money to bet? I can bet $100 the Gareth Bale is not going to be fit, but in form.
If he is fit, I'll tell you that he can be a difference maker. You never know. In one of games,
I think all the why we're all like, how can I say, like, okay, let's not say furious, but we're disappointed with Gareth Bale is that we know there's a potential there. You know, we've seen this guy can get the job done, but the point is he's never available to get the job done.
Yeah.
So like that's the huge difference between him and Hazard. You know, like for Hazard, he hasn't shown us that I can do this, but for Bale, we've seen that he can actually give. You know, no matter how shitty Bale plays, like he just does the minimum. You know. The minimum, like the minimum required you can get from him, like this is a guarantee. But the point is that he's always never there.
Yeah, for me as well, I think if Gareth Bale is fit, if Gareth Bale is motivated, he has the potential to be the second best player on the team behind Benzema. You know, so I think Benzema, Bale is like.
Carlo loves him. Carlo.
Well, how do you motivate Gareth Bale right now? Unless you're Wales, like Wales is the only source of motivation he can find. Like,
I don't know, man. Carlo has to figure that out.
Yeah, it's Carlo's job, and it's his. Originally, you know, Bale was Carlo's golden boy, so I think he can get a tune out of him if he could make the others, you know, like.
I just remembered something. I don't know if you guys like you just said that Carlo he got the best out of Bale, right? Towards the end of 14-15 season, I don't know if you guys remember, but Bale had a falling out with Carlo Ancelotti. You guys remember that?
Yeah, actually, I remember then. And then when Benitez came, and then they were like, "Yeah, he's Benitez's main man. He's gonna play the 10 rule. Like now he formed a new lease of life and stuff." Yeah, I remember that a lot. I remember.
Why was there a falling out? Was it because he wanted to play more centrally?
Yeah.
Okay.
From what I read in Carlo Ancelotti's book, it was like Bale didn't come to him directly. Instead, his agent spoke to Florentino and the management, and they said that Bale wants to play more centrally. And that happened in the middle of the season, you know, like around December, January. And then the management calls in Carlo and says, "Oh yeah, Bale's agent came to us and he said Bale wants to play a central role." So Carlo was slightly pissed, but you know how Carlo is. He doesn't take anything, you know, too seriously. So he just goes to Bale and says, "Okay, if you want to try this, we're going to try it in the summer, but right now you're playing right wing." And he's like, "Okay, fine, whatever."
Yeah, I remember. So when Benitez came, like, you know, we with the experiment, like Bale was playing centrally, and he was like just pure garbage.
Yeah. The only good game I remember is the 10-2 I think.
Actually, that game was pretty poor when we started off. We were actually 2-1 behind.
Yeah, like we actually went behind, right? 2-1.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I remember the game.
And then they had 2 guys sent off, and it's like 9 men. Okay, 11 versus 11 is difficult. 9 versus 11 is impossible.
Yeah, Rayo was having a stinker that night. Another thing I wanted to allude to since we are on Cadiz, they actually play tomorrow, which is mad. They play tomorrow against Albacete in the Copa del Rey second round.
Yeah.
So they'll be knackered, man, come Sunday. I don't think they'll rotate much.
I think Albacete is also a good. I think they have some history in La Liga and Segunda. So,
yeah. They do.
Yeah. So but either way, I don't think. I hope we can be professional and finish off the job against Cadiz instead of having our usual lower teams in a row.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, any final thoughts, score predictions? I go with a clean 2-0. Just get the job done.
I would totally take a 2-0 victory. I would totally take it.
It's been a trend then now. 2-0, 2-0.
Yeah, I think just before we end the program, I would like to point out that Karim Benzema, I think he has won some award from AS for the Sportsman of the Year. So congratulations.
I saw the post. He put it on his Insta. Oh.
Yeah. So congratulations to Karim. And in a shock news, I think Alaves got knocked out in the Copa del Rey today by some lower league team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. I think Linares Deportivo, they knocked them out 2-1. I don't know which division this team plays in.
Yeah, Copa del Rey.
I don't know any of the they're in Segunda Division B. Oh man.
Spirit of the cup competition lives on
division. I don't know whatever that is.
Since they changed it to a one-legged format, it's been pretty good.
Exactly,
right?
It makes more sense, because the point is like if you eventually go and lose to a minor, there's a high possibility that you can just get the second and bring out the big guns and just kill them. And but the spirit of the cup should live on, man. Like let them be giant slaying, guys. Let's see. Let's see giant slaying. So yeah.
We would take some drama.
Exactly.
Anyway, so again, let's hope our boys get the job done against Cadiz. Although they wouldn't be a pushover, we should have enough firepower in us to get the job done and keep this run going. And we need it at the moment, and just keep it ticking. That's all I ask for. Just keep it ticking. Just do enough and get out. That's it.
Yeah, and to have some rotations.
Definitely.
By the way, I checked. Linares Deportivo is a 3rd division team, so still a big achievement.
Yeah, commiserations to Alaves. So I think that's a wrap, boys. Until we are back again. Hala Madrid.
Hopefully next week. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.